Alright, for me at two, how many pressure washers does it take to
How are
fly?
you going? If you've ever used a
But I
pressure
did a
washer,
thing.
you've probably had the same thought as
Oh,
me.
I did a
You
thing
turn
is
it on
actually a
and you feel the
psychopath,
power
bro.
and the
This thing
speed of
got
the
it,
water
bro.
running through your hands. And that makes you think,
He be
what would happen if I
creating
put this in my
some
oven?
crazy ass shit, bro.
And then, after that, you probably want to know how many pressure washers it would take to get you in the air. So today, I'm going to find out.
Now you double wording that shit, bro.
Okay,
Ain't
when
no
you
way.
search online, you find a bunch of fake videos of people flying. Like this one by Zach King. Or this one by these two goofy guys just mucking around during work. With these two pressure washers conveniently faced perfectly towards the camera. And surely, if it was this easy, every tradie in Australia would be flying to work. But maybe it is. So I took apart my pressure washer bidet and pointed the pressure washer down at this scale to see how much force they actually produce. And most days my weight is roughly between 88 and 90 kilos, depending on if I do a morning poo. And
88 and 90 kilos? So 198 pounds. Okay.
whether that poo falls on the scale or not.
Ugly ass
And now,
feet.
when I turn on the washer, I weigh 1.5 kilos less, which means that unless those goofy men weighed 3 kilos, the video is fake. And this is way less power than I was hoping for, and means I would need 80 of these cheapo pressure washers strapped to every part of my body to cancel out my weight, which would cost me $16,000 and is not going to happen. So I need to find a stronger power washer. And I don't really understand the physics and maths behind it, but I think that if I weigh 90 kilos, I essentially need 90 kilos of upwards force every second to get my big booty off the ground.
What the fuck?
And it is possible to do these with water, as there are companies that offer water jetpack experiences that work by essentially strapping their customers to the exhaust of a jet ski, which gives some pretty impressive results. And jet skis have a flow rate of 4,000 litres per minute, which is heaps. To put that in perspective, my mate Alexa has a flow rate of around 1.5 litres per minute.
Oh, whoa.
Stop. Compared to a normal pressure washer, which has 8 litres of flow per minute. So that means the jet ski has 500 times more water flow than a pressure washer. But using a jet ski is cheating, and I want to find a pressure washer strong enough. So I attempted to modify my existing pressure washer so it gets more flow, by drilling out the nozzle and removing the filter.
Okay.
But I broke it, which gave me the idea of breaking other people's pressure washers. So I borrowed a 3000 psi, 15 litre a minute pressure washer. And even though I won't be able to get the same flow rate as a jet ski, I'm hoping I can get the same force by having a much higher psi. And I got on the scale again after eating a big lunch and a bunch of fishing sinkers, and now weigh 95 kilos. And this time it looks like I'm losing around 3 to 4 kilos, but it's hard to tell from all the water spray. And I really thought it would give me more lift, as it feels like it has more than 4 kilos of kickback. But maybe it's not transferring into lift as I'm not holding the hose tightly against my body.
Okay.
Then I figure I might get more thrust if I take off the nozzle, resulting in more water flow.
I shoot a little weaker.
Now it looks like Alexa. The pressure washer needs the nozzle to build up pressure. Then I thought I might be able to make it stronger if I opened up the handle and lost these tiny screws in the grass. Which didn't help either, and looks like I'm only getting 5 kilos of thrust. So I'm going to need more power. And I found these even stronger industrial petrol-powered pressure washers, which will deliver 20 litres of water a minute at 5,000 psi. Which might be able to get me in the air if I have multiple of them. But before I hired them, I decided to see if my arms were even capable of supporting enough thrust to get me off the ground. So I made this pulley system, which I can add weight to, and will pull up my arms in the same direction as the pressure washers. Now, if I want to get off the ground, I need to be able to support 45 kilos of upwards force in each arm. But first, tried out the system with 20 kilos.
Oh shit. I was not expecting that.
Now, some of you have probably noticed that I've moved house, and this wasn't my choice. And it turns out landlords don't like it when you film yourself destroying stuff and blasting holes in your ceiling. And the new garage is nice, but doesn't...
Oh, so you had an apartment and you was doing all that, bro? Now this nigga is
Have the
tweaking.
crappy DIY feel of my
Imagine
old
his old
place,
ceiling
so I made
broke.
sure to replicate some of the most recognizable features, like this blade fan and some of the holes that my old place had. So let's just hope the new landlord doesn't watch this video. Also, lucky for me, my grandpa
This nigga is
died,
psychopath, bro.
so I got a bunch of his tools from the 50s to
Lucky
add to
for
my
me, it's
garage,
crazy.
like this drill press, a cool vise, a nice big tank of gas for the welder, and most excitingly, a tool I've always wanted to use.
Look at that. Look like a rice patty.
Child labor, which should allow me to
Okay.
make things much quicker.
Okay. I was not expecting that. You know what?
Okay, so I went outside and added 40 kilos to the rope, which was really hard to support. And hurt my hand heaps. And that is even
bet.
without the threat of being blasted open by water. So I can't imagine how hard it's going to be with the pressure washers. But I decided to hire the 4 big ones anyway. And I didn't realize how hard it would be to hire this many pressure washers, as most places only have 1 big one. And then when I finally found a place that had 4, I didn't consider that I needed a cover story as to why I needed them. And then when I was on the phone, I panicked and for some reason told them I needed 4 to clean my kitchen. So Kennards, if you're watching, here's me doing the dishes.
Oh shit.
And even though they seemed confused, they still delivered 4 giant pressure washers.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, just 4 of them. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
How much
before I
does
put them
cost, bro?
all on me, there are a couple
gotta
of things
cost
I
like
still
a-
need to do.
a
Obviously,
lot.
I can't hold 4 pressure washers, so I need to make some kind of
Cost
brace for my
billions,
arms,
bro,
which
I
will
know
help
it
me
too.
stabilize them, but also means I'm attached to the pressure washers, so I'm going to fly wherever they take me. And I made the brace out of this square bar, which I cut into arm-sized pieces.
Okay.
I then welded on some right angle pieces for the rope to go through, and then also welded another brace on the end, which should help me hold my body weight against it in a similar way to crutches. Then I tied on the pressure washers, creating this almost illegal looking device. And then comes the most
Now that gotta
important
be,
step,
like,
which is
some-
dipping the end
that
of the
gotta be
brace in
kinda
the
illegal.
sponsor of today's video,
Gotta be.
PayPal Honey. Honey is the #1 shopping tool in America, but I like to think of it as being more similar to an online sidekick inside my computer, and is always for you or helps you me tend a lot of the pressure using Honey line, and Honey found a coupon really
Oh,
takes off.
someone to add.
So go now and add it to your browser for free at joinhoney.com/iditathing. That's joinhoney.com/iditathing. Okay, back to the pressure washer gun. So I put down some plywood and some mats so I don't hurt
Okay.
myself when I fall down. And then pulled out this old record player to use as a platform. Then because I only have 1 hose, I borrowed some more from my neighbor who was strangely supportive of what I was trying to do. And now I have 4 5,000 pressure washers hooked up to 4 separate water supplies.
I know
with a
his name
combined
was
pressure
Hayden,
of
bro.
20,000
I just know
psi
it.
and 80 liters per minute flow rate. 80 times more than my mate. Okay, now before going straight to the 4 pressure washers, I just want to see what 2 feel like without an arm
Now what if he
brace.
lands on that radio player the rest of the day? Oh shit. Oh shit.
Holy sh! What was
Okay, so
that?
the bad thing is, it's like getting electrocuted because when it pushes up to this position, I can't let go of my grip.
It's pulling away.
So hard into my hand that it's gonna fly away. So I need to grip it.
That's insane.
That's fucked. This one is a million times stronger than this one.
And that wasn't a
Damn.
good idea. But luckily the nozzles want to fly up away from my feet. Although if they do cut them off, I will weigh less. Also, the scales weren't displaying much more weight loss than the 3000 psi pressure washer. But then I realized something. These pressure washers are rated to a flow rate of 20 liters per minute, but my neighbor's garden hose only outputs 8 liters per minute. So unless these pressure washers pull out more water somehow, they aren't producing as much power as they could be. So I got this external pump, which has a flow rate of 7,200 litres per hour, which is 120 litres per minute, and then got these old sewerage hoses, which were a little too small, so I used this heat gun to loosen them up before shoving the pump into the hose's urethra, which now pump out heaps more
That's
water.
actually insane.
And after connecting the new hoses, I tested out the braces with 2 pressure washers.
That forcing the urethra is
just
crazy,
two
bro.
first. Just considering how much one of those kicked, like,
Pretty terrifying.
it might be impossible to control.
You also look like an orc.
Might be
feel like
that shit is going to be impossible to
Which
control.
side?
To flamethrowers and children.
Oh, yeah, great. The losing side. At least you're on the correct end of it. I'm going to be turning the stuff on over here. I'll be like directly down the nozzle from it.
Okay, yeah, you can turn it on.
Okay, these feel way
That
stronger than the
kickback
normal
is
garden
insane.
hoses, and were pushing me back really hard, and I couldn't really keep them in one spot. And even allowed me to do this,
Now the recoil-
which doesn't look very impressive on camera, but
wild.
felt very cool in my head. So now it's time for all 4 pressure washers. But before I did that, I wanted to see what would happen to my head if the 4 pressure washers somehow did slip out of my hands and pointed directly at my face.
Okay, so in this order, we're gonna turn these ones on first. Yep.
Yeah.
Turn them on first.
Okay.
And then you'll turn these ones on.
I'm turning on all of them.
Okay.
Huh?
I'm turning all of them on.
You're gonna turn all of them on. And then if I want you to stop, I'll point at one and then go like this. So go like...
Your hands are... You're going to be holding these. You
Oh,
can't...
yeah.
I'll just turn them all off.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
just...
glad you told me before I tried to...
Kill me.
Yeah.
And the power of these 4
Yo,
washers
he's
together
actually holding
was
his ground
insane.
there, ain't gonna lie.
The only way to describe the feeling is kind of as if a wet man was pushing back on my underarms while spitting on my face.
Dude, right. Oh shit, damn.
What the...
Yeah, that destroyed it, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
That absolutely demolished it.
There's no watermelon. What?
Well, I didn't
Is it any good?
I
Nah,
did
he
not
filthy.
expect it to look
Nah, he
like that.
filthy. That's,
Dude, it's like
that's
it's turned into a
disgusting.
milkshake as well. It's so
Tastes
frothy.
like a slushy. That's delicious.
It's actually not that bad.
Did he put it
Good way
off
to
the
eat watermelon.
grass?
That's amazing. Tastes a bit like pool water, but...
Yeah, it's full of chlorine.
And after
Yo,
a snack,
that's-
I had enough
that's not
confidence
good.
to continue. So with the wheelchair on standby, we were good to go, and Alexa turned on all 4 pumps. And although I look very graceful here, it may surprise you
Graceful.
to know that I didn't really have any control of the movements my body was making, nor could I let go of the trigger. I also couldn't scream loud enough over the pressure washers to tell Alexa to turn them off.
You're telling me to turn it off and you're shooting at the machine that I meant to turn off.
Yeah, for real.
I couldn't really control it. It's bad because you start off with like strength, you know, but then the longer you're doing it, it's just like, I don't know, holding 15 kilos up. You get really, really tired.
Yeah.
And you just start to go, and then once you go a bit floppy, your arm just keeps going.
So I decided to have another go, but this time with the washers closer to my body and securely in my underarms, but also with a scale to see how much force I was getting.
Okay. Yeah, he sucked earlier, bro.
And the scale was saying I was losing about 50 kilos, going from 110 to 60-ish, which is a lot of force.
Damn.
Then I decided to try jumping.
Do not jump. This nigga got a death wish, bro. Oh, no, he's jumping higher. Yo,
Now, it doesn't really look like anything is happening, but I did feel like I was getting a little bit more airtime than usual.
That's what it looks
And I'm
like.
not trying to say I was anywhere close to flying, but it did look pretty cool. And in the slow-mo,
Oh,
you
he's
can see
soaking
that
the
I actually
grass,
seem to
bro.
get a bit of
Oh,
extra
wow.
height and fall slower than usual. Or
Yeah.
that could just be the wobble from the pressure washers and the
Nah,
slow-mo from the
it do,
camera,
it do.
making it look like that. So I gave it a couple more goes, but my altitude remained pretty similar. And with these pressure washers, I was getting around 12.5 kilos each, meaning I would need 8 of these to get me off the ground, plus the weight of the pressure washers, so more like 10 of these. So unless I magically lose 50 kilos, I don't think these pressure washers are going to make anyone fly today.
Alright.
Do you reckon you can come with me? Come with me. Watch your head.
Fuck with the bucket hat.
Come with me. Come on. Thank you. Can we put this? Yeah. Now, just keep it like that.
Yo, this nigga tweaking, bro. Yo, this nigga's tweaking, bro. Yo, he's trying to kill that kid.
Thanks for
Yo.
watching.
Yo, why? Well, I was looking away, but why when I glanced back and I saw him turn it on, I thought that was a kid, bro. Like that one glance, but that 1 second, I thought that was a kid, bro. I was like, he was doing shit though. That's insane.
Thanks
bro.
for watching. If you like that,
That's insane. Yo, what the fuck? I Did a Thing, bro. I Did a Thing is like creative, but like creative in a good way and a not so good way, because he put out his creativity in some random shit that, you know, that we don't really need, but like when we get it, we don't complain. You feel me? So I felt I Did a Thing.